Hello and welcome to the Red Card District. Today I'm joined by Kyle Hufnagel. You can follow him on the Twitter at AnfieldCat420. You can follow him on Instagram as Astral Tempest with some
since last time we got a new one, you can catch me at Vasky Media on YouTube and V-Sky Media on the Bird as well, but you're not going to be getting my spicy takes.
Yeah, all right, and look for him there on V-Sky for all your virtual sky drone needs.
For all your hot drone needs.
Hot drone needs, yes, sir. Well, today is Wednesday. We have just finished watching some fun Carabao Cup action. The Champions League round 6 is behind us. That finished last week. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about here on the Red Card District. First and foremost, both of our clubs won today. The mighty Liverpool and the mighty Arsenal had no trouble dispatching lower First Division teams, Southampton and Crystal Palace, respectively.
I mean, Palace can't be too far behind you.
Okay. We're starting there. Well, yes, I think they're a little behind. I mean, why don't you ask United about where they are in relation to them?
Well, we can get to that tomorrow, but I think it's, Arsenal are very lucky. I think that comeback might not have happened today.
Says the man whose team just got bailed out with a no penalty decision.
Well, it was outside the box. It started outside the box.
Oh, sorry, no red card sending off.
Could have been a send-off.
Yeah,
would have been fitting.
Been a red card sending off.
I mean,
yes.
We're always in for the red card here, right? But
always in for it. But anyway, so the quarterfinals have finished, with the exception of the tiny tot Hotspur. What's that?
Tater tot.
The tot shite.
Manure.
The tot shite. The tiny tots are playing Manchester United tomorrow for the final spot in the semifinals of the Carabao Cup. The other three semifinalists have been determined today, with Newcastle dispatching of Brentford, Arsenal and Liverpool both making a little bit more difficult passing than it needed to be today against said rivals.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, we're going to have an interesting semifinal set up. I mean, are they going to draw today, or are they waiting?
I don't know. They're going to do it today. Probably tomorrow. Immediately after.
It's only 4 teams. Yeah.
It'll probably, if it's Spurs, I guarantee you it'll be Arsenal Spurs, and then it'll be Jordy's Scousers and the other.
You think so?
Well, I mean, that's just the highest scoring matchup in league history. So I think they're going to give the people what they want.
I got a feeling we got a semifinal coming up against Liverpool.
I mean, I hope for your sake it's not, because I don't know if you want to listen about the Charity Shield all over again for another 12 months.
Yeah, you're right. Give you guys a shout. Give you guys a chance to play United or Tottenham. we'll still take it. That'd be fine.
Yeah, but either way, it's kind of good to get these matches out of the way as we're kind of getting to the business end of what the holiday fixtures really are all about, and that's, the onslaught of a match a day for the next 2 weeks here.
Yep. So the Premier League will be going back in full flight here now that these quarterfinals will be done after tomorrow. We usually don't talk too much about the Carabao Cup, but teams are trying to make small trophies into big trophies these days. Whether it be a Charity Shield or a milk paint trophy cup,
or for United, it's the Bangkok Cup.
The Bangkok for Tottenham, it's the Audi Cup, I believe. That's the one preseason tournament they've won since. The only thing they've won since they won a Carabao Cup, when it was the Carling Cup.
It is a piece of silverware. I mean, we were listening.
It's not major silverware. It is silverware.
It's been 30 years since Arsenal have won that. So
yeah, but
I think right now that's something that you would rip someone's hand off to get, because you can't win the FA Cup and rely on that.
We need something. We need something to validate the run of good play that we've had. So the fact that there's only one FA Cup is now being used as a brush to tar us with. Mm-hmm. And like you said, you don't get participation trophies. No one's talking about. I mean, although Tottenham will do it, they will talk about how they were Champions League finalists, right? They had their customized watches that were made for them by who only fucking further the Spursiness of them, right? Gave them finalist watches. That was ahead of the match.
That was on my birthday, and I remember that the excitement from the Tottenham fans lasted all but 2 minutes until that happened at the old Cock and Bull pub.
Yeah, that was a great day.
It was a magical day. But, I think it's another time that we get to take a breather from really kind of the insanity that's been this new Champions League format. And I think that, from a Liverpool perspective, we've had some players that have just been absolutely flying that we were talking about week in, week out at the start of the season that have been absolutely anonymous come, league time. So, one of those players for us at least is Lucho Diaz, who has been on fire. And I think everyone looks at him as being so in form, but it's because he was scoring so much, every other match for us in Europe. But has kind of been, as your fantasy football team will suggest.
Not so much in the league. Yeah, I was going to say, I've been very aware of his form not being as good as it was a couple months ago.
And I think another one of those players, that I love sliding off any chance I get is your boy Darwin Martinelli.
Well, which version are you talking about? The Darwin version or the Martinelli version?
Well, I mean, Martinelli has been one of those players that's only scoring, it seems, in Europe. I mean, as soon as I said it, I feel like it was the curse of the commentator last time we were watching.
Yeah, he did score that
match
one.
over here, and he puts it in the back of the net, and then normal service resumes as soon as the league anthem is played before kickoff.
Look, he has seemed to have plateaued a bit, and we all thought that he would take off to another level, and it is very difficult when you have Saka on the other side. I mean, in a sense, it helps that there's someone that dangerous on the other side, so you don't get doubled up too much. But you still see that no matter which side they go to, these defenses tend to try to double up against these wingers because they're so fast and so pacey. Like Martinelli's the fastest of the two, and he still creates a lot of chances. It creates a bunch of corners for us, which obviously is something that we seem to be a little too reliant on at the moment, but that we go into quite often. And we just hasn't really made the leap that we would have liked. I do think currently, I think Arsenal are ruining a lack of significant signing in that position because the way it's turning out so far with our boy Radio Raheem is that we're not seeing too much from him.
That's the worst.
He didn't. He didn't
How
do too
often
much.
has he been actually starting for you guys? Has he been strictly a bench player?
He's been starting in the Carabao Cup.
That's probably about his level at this stage with his legs have got to be gone.
He's only 30 years old. But yeah, these guys have been playing since they were fucking 16 for the first team, right? When did he make the breakthrough at Liverpool? He was 17 or 16?
He was 18, 19 because he was at QPR for a while before then. We got him. He wasn't one of our youngest players to get their debut, but he hit the ground running.
But he was playing for the first team at QPR at
for
17?
a brief moment.
17, 18, and then came over. He came over to you guys as a 19-year-old? Something like that?
Yeah, but his thing was you got to look at he was playing off of the SAS, attack where it was Suarez and Sturridge and Sterling. So he was just able to take up that space that essentially Suarez was creating from him and making those runs. And that's how he would get through. His finishing has always been kind of crap, with the exception of I think I was in Rio de Janeiro whenever he had his ghost goal for England against Italy go in, and I'm screaming after drinking for 12 hours, but that was the goal that wasn't there. But he's never been a great finisher.
No, he hasn't been. But there was a period of time when he was at Manchester City that he was scoring like 20 goals a season, but it's because he was put himself in so many good positions. It was kind of like...
Because of his pace.
Right, because of his pace. And that's also so kind of similar to a man who you used to like to slight, but it was also a prolific goal scorer in certain instances, but mostly because of getting himself into the right place all the time, was Aubameyang, right?
Yeah.
Not a elite finisher, but an elite forward about getting into the right space to make the chances. He would get into the right place so many times that even if he bundled in only 20%, he was still scoring 25 goals.
Well, dare I say that one of the more, stunning performances in the past couple of years from a center forward and, Erling Haaland, we're really looking at him in hindsight here and talking about these players of they got in the space because they were fast. Haaland also fast, but we also can pen with them that they're kind of all tap-in merchants. And I think whenever you're looking at a service-starved Haaland, the goals have dried up.
This is
and
true.
That's I don't know if that's a part of the entire team or whatever else.
He doesn't
There's more
create
to it
for
than
himself. Like I don't think anyone, when you look at the greatest Premier League players of all time, who I know who you're going to harp on and on about, but like Mo Salah has put himself into the conversation for the greatest player of the Premier League.
He might be the best winger. Winger.
Right. But I'm giving him his flowers for
it. And I think that you've changed your tune over the past 6 months because this used to be Saka. Is he up there with?
Yes, Saka's the second
Salah.
best winger in the league. Yes, Saka has more assists.
Second only to save
Salah.
the line, Bart. Second only to Mo Salah. Yeah.
Second only to Mo Salah. But those are the two world-class wingers in the Premier League. Legitimate world-class.
I was looking at something the other day, and I wish I had it on hand, but it was looking at a lot of the players that were on the right wing, and it was the heat map over the season so far, and I think it included Europe as well. And it was interesting to see that Saka's heat map took so much more of an advanced role compared to Salah's, where Salah was doing a lot of tracking back, and maybe that's under Arne Slot, but it's really Saka gets the ball in the danger zone on that left on that channel so many times it depends on from the defender's left, but he gets that have to be
the attacker is
left.
on the right.
Well, three lefts make a right, okay, but that's splitting hairs. But also getting that ball in that area, he's got a great foot on him, I'll tell you that. He's able to beat his man because how old is Saka? Is he 23, 24?
23.
Yeah, so he's still got those knees, he's still got the pace, a lot like Sterling. And I think he's just able to execute. I mean, maybe that heat map is due to most of his assists coming from the corner flag and booting it in. But for me, it was really astonishing to see that you probably have an aging Mo Salah who still looks like he's in the form of his life fitness-wise.
I mean, whatever horse placenta they injected him when he was in Turkey getting that hair transplant, I don't know. They gave him the serum of life.
Sign me up.
Yeah, whatever it is, whatever shit they put him in, he looks great. He's been running like... he was definitely. I mean, I think the hairline was helping him, making him look more like an old man. Last season, he's starting to look more his age, and all of a sudden, he looks like this bustling new.
The old wild-haired Salah, though, might be his best.
The original, but he wasn't as clinical then. This Salah is just this version of Salah is just as good, if not better, than any other one that I've seen.
Also missed more penalties, in the past season.
Well,
I guess from Christmas to Christmas than has ever been happened.
Yeah,
Frank Hufnagel can call that
guess.
one.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be happy to remind. But he's been in this form where like you see the ball get back to him and he just fucking scores. It's just. But as far as like what I was trying to get to was that as game breakers overall in the Premier League, like yes, Erling Haaland has broken the record for the most goals and it's not just a tap-in merchant, but just as a striker, he doesn't really create stuff on his own. There's not too many moments of magic of him breaking away from a player. It's him. It's a great run. It's a great run through. It's jumping and leaping up and beating people to a ball. But it's not moments of magic like what we've seen with Salah, what we used to see with Thierry Henry.
Yep.
Even that fucking idiot teenager when he was here, Cristiano Ronaldo.
It's crazy kids.
These crazy kids. We're just they were at a different level as far as like being able to create stuff and being game breakers on their own. Like you said, we've seen this. Like Kun Aguero could break and do something magical away from him. Is that like I don't think he's still. I mean, we would expect that in due time he will go down as the greatest striker in Man City's history if he continues to score goals over the next few seasons. But I don't think anyone at like any real City fan would tell you that at this point he's a better striker than Aguero was.
Well, I don't think any real City fan exists anymore, especially on like the Twitterverse or whatever else, that can remember anything beyond.
Well, they're not on
4
Twitter.
or 5 years ago.
They're too old to be on Twitter.
Who is Darius Vassell? Who is Sean Wright-Phillips for that team? I hardly.
Stephen Ireland.
Stephen Ireland, dude. The pink. You remember the pink Range Rover?
Richard Dunn doing
Richard. An old man named Richard Dunn.
That man hates Thierry Henry. That guy had his career ended by Thierry.
I mean, I'm gonna dust this one off for the pundits that were saying this maybe 6 or 7 years ago about Salah. Could it be that Haaland is becoming a 1 to 2 season wonder, where none of the footage was available, no one knew how to guard that, with the exception of a world-class defender like Virgil van Dijk, who defended well against him whenever he was playing for Dortmund, who defended amazingly for him whenever he was playing against City.
Give my boy my flowers.
He's done it a couple times against an underperforming Haaland. Yes, I will say that. However,
who else has?
I don't know what's the beast. The gooning beast, yes.
Okay.
The edging gooning beast. But I think that, yes, Arsenal's defense, especially last year, being in such good form that they were, is he a 1 or 2 season wonder where people have figured it out and know how to mark him out of the game, or if he's starved of service, he just goes missing?
Well, I mean, starved of service, I think he has to learn how to add a dynamic to his game for that reason. Mm-hmm. But those are, that's enough. I mean, we can go on and on about that. We don't need to worry too much about him specifically. But Erling Haaland is, not in his best form this season. You can't say he doesn't have Kevin De Bruyne because the man's there. So, he's getting his goals here and there. They're sporadic. There haven't been enough.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like this tail slide's been fucking amazing. Let's go back to the weekend just because we're going to get to Champions League. We're here to talk mostly Champions League, but there's been a lot of fun shit going on in the past few weeks with Ruben Amorim coming in as the new manager for United. Unfortunately, he seems to have a decent head on his shoulders, unlike that fucking idiot Ten Hag that we were all wishing would stay there as long as possible.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually had a better start to his reign at United than Arne Slot did. I think he had like one more win.
We're not talking about Arne Slot here, okay?
But I'm just saying that, like, even though the honeymoon phase will end at some point.
Sure.
And I think you're starting to see with maybe the star players at United of Rashford, you know, coming out and saying that he wants to be leaving. Garnacho now getting popped with potentially releasing the lineups before officially released. I think that there's going to be hell to come once the lipstick comes off the pig.
Yeah, I mean, there should be a big shakeup.
Ruben interim, as we'd like to call him.
There should be a big shakeup in the summer there. You know, obviously there's there's significant cancers there in the clubhouse. It is unfortunate that some of them, you know, but I mean, some of these guys, you know, I think this is why there's some teams and some managers and people take different philosophies, different clubs.
Yep.
Whether or not they're built, you know, like they want to build good men, they're trying to do certain stuff, you know, like the culture of like how is the character of these players. And I think at Manchester United, it's been very clear. They've been going after whatever target they think is supposed to be the nicest, shiniest toy, regardless of how it works, as far as the chemistry for the team, how hard they work. You know, like these things have feels like they've fallen behind that because they've been chasing everything, the new hot thing that's been on the press. And it's like, oh, Dutch, we're going to sign these Dutch players, we do this. But, you know, some of these guys are absolute fucktards, you know? Like Garnacho is a fucking moron. Like, I could tell you that. You know, they're not going to win any fucking. He's not going to win you a academic decathlon. You know, and but not that that's the most important thing. You don't have to be that fucking smart, but it's about general stuff. You know,
I think that that's obviously a massive, massive point. I think the one exception that I could use from my knowledge is whenever you're recruiting on a committee, so to speak. I mean, that's how Roberto Firmino found his way to Liverpool Football Club. And I remember his debut game was against United. Benteke was starting. I think it was 2-1. And I think Martial had his first goal for the club too. So it was interesting. But, you know, all it takes is the right person to come in and play him in the right position to maybe have one of the best false nines that the league has seen in recent memory. But, I don't know
we're
that
talking United.
I don't
come
know
back to Liverpool, man. Can you stay on top?
A manager can come in like Amorim can and change such a massive club like United is and change the culture that's around that. I don't see that happening by anyone that's just an absolute enigmatic figure. I just don't know that that's possible in the modern game.
You hope it's not. I mean, I hope it's not enough. I'd love to see them continue to flounder, you know.
Well, even Pep Guardiola coming in, like it took billions and billions of dollars to be able to do that. You're talking about Ratcliffe canceling Crimbo dinner. What's that going to do to your talent like Luke Shaw and Casemiro? They're going to be out the door getting a chippy chip down the corner, you know. So I think it's you're creating by trying to right the ship. You're creating maybe more of a toxic environment it's going to be hard to recruit. It's going to be interesting to see what they have to do because they got slots to fill.
Here's the funny thing, right? It's like when they start doing that kind of shit, and so even at Arsenal, you know, they fired the original Gunnosaurus at one point. There were cuts, you know, like after
the guy was sandbagging, dude.
But sometimes you see this, it's like, dude, wait, hold on, like this amount, like this little, we're canceling Christmas dinner, like saving the club. What's that dinner going to cost him? $10,000 for the whole club for everything? Like that's what fucking Marcus Rashford makes in 5 minutes on the pitch.
He's on the pitch,
right? Get your fucking priorities straight. Canceling Christmas is not the fucking answer.
But you also got to look at the current models and selling jerseys is a big part of it, right? And
well, that's been their only successful model that they've been able to sustain for all this time. Yeah. Manchester United keeps selling all those fucking jerseys.
Yeah, and I
hope it's slowed down.
I mean, so the game is broken right now.
Yankees fans are tired of losing enough for their own team, you know.
the game is broken, and I mean, it's such a corporate model now that I think it is just going to go to the highest bidder, and that's just the way it is. Especially now that we're looking at reintroducing the idea of another Super League coming in. You know, I know those plans have been submitted to FIFA and UEFA, and who knows what that's going to be, but that's just another cash grab like the Nations Cup that's well on its way to arrive.
The Nations League?
Or the Nations League Cup, whatever. I mean, it's going to be a cup.
It's garbage.
There's a cup, but...
It's garbage.
Again, it's just what's going to happen. I hate to say it, but it's like flies for wonton boys. That is going to be a real pivotal moment where when Cantona's saying some nonsense in front of all the suits, like he knows what's coming. I mean, they were already doing the Joga Bonita advertising campaigns for Nike in, what was that, 2006? And the money that must have...
2006,
Yeah, the money that was backed by had to be phenomenal. So I think the American capitalist juggernaut is, going full steam ahead. So I don't think the money's going anywhere. And with that, you're going to get even more prima donna talent out there like Garnacho or Trashford. And, hopefully some dignity can still be preserved by some of the academy kids and appreciate their chance at getting out there on the pitch and wearing the shirt that they grew up supporting.
Yeah, time will only tell with them. I'm just saying, I do expect to see improvement from United over the course of the next year. I think they're going to be lucky to finish in a Europa League spot this year, even if Amarin gets it turned around. It's a big cluster. Everything in the Premier League standings are quite a cluster all around mid-table. But I think for them realistically, sixth place is what they have to target now, right? At being in 11th, 12th place. Trying to get to the top half of the table by Christmas time.
They're in 13th right now?
13th. Yeah, that sounds comfortable.
So, I mean,
are they still in 13th even after that win, after beating City? Is that what you didn't mention?
They didn't change. I think they're just right above West Ham. But the thing is, whenever you're looking at a rebuild, you don't want to be disillusioned with Champions League.
Well, honestly, you don't want Europa League. You don't really want
even the Conference League. I think Chelsea are playing the Conference League right now, and that's probably a huge factor in the equation of why their bloated billion-dollar squad is looking fresher than most, looking like a sound second place right now in the league.
Well, yeah, okay, sure. It's, in the Form League, they got 5 wins on the trot, so they're looking better than anybody else right now. But like you said, the people they're using, they're trotting out an entire different team for the Europa Conference League. So they're keeping those legs fresh.
And you got João Felix on the bench, and who knows what's going to come out of this mud skipper doping charge, right? I feel like that's going to be maybe a closer look at the entire medical staff.
We shall see. That's certainly something to take into consideration. Well, yeah, you're right. United is still in 13th. Just ahead of Newcastle and Brentford. It's pretty wild.
The mighty Brentford.
The mighty Brentford in the 11th, the mighty Newcastle in 12th. After finishing in 4th place, this is not the way they saw this going.
No, there's been a lot of surprises domestically this season. But I think, a lot of these big spenders, obviously Newcastle are kind of hampered by the precedent that City have kind of set with, oil washing a lot of the the transfers and stuff like that. But, we'll see. I think Newcastle are going to be a tough opponent in the Energy Drink Cup coming up here. But I think, United got bigger problems than just what's on the pitch. That stadium's literally falling down. And I think that clubhouse is just rotten to the core. So, I think...
Yeah, it needs a full gutting, and we'll see how it goes with them, But it is funny. The only thing I will say that's funny about it is that, them getting the win against City, it's funny to laugh at City because they threw that away, right? That match was done. The fucking penalty that they concede. So here's my question for you about City, because we must examine this before we move on to the Champions League.
Yeah.
Do they know that they're going down? Something has changed in the past month or two, right? Yeah, even though you thought that with Pep signing the extension, announcing he was going to stay, that whole fucking thing, yet it hasn't had it feels like the announcement of that was to be a stabilizing factor for them, to take away a lot of the uncertainty
on the rags. Yes, absolutely. That's what it was.
That's what it's supposed to be. But or do we have a John Terry Wayne Bridge situation?
So
who's shagging whose bird? What the fuck is going on? There's something wrong. Something's got to be wrong in the dressing room. There's got to be something wrong, endemic in the club.
It's a ditty party.
Or do they know that they're all going to be looking for somewhere else to go because they're going to be dropping down? So now they don't have the same collective effort to the same goal anymore.
So it's one big Diddy party overseas, and it's hilarious. I probably didn't share this with you. I think I shared it with Mark and maybe some other people, but there's a conspiracy that I absolutely love.
Football conspiracies.
Usually it's one of those where the conspiracy theory is right about 6 months down the line. City with additional charges coming on.
Yeah.
Pep signing on to save face. I think that a lot of these results are the conspiracy goes. A lot of these results are happening as the court cases have already been heard, and now they're in basically. I don't know if it's a jury or if it's a
deliberation.
Yeah, I think it might be like a council that's kind of looking at this.
Moderation deciding the penalty. Like, what are we?
Some folks suggest that City are throwing these games to get favor on their punishment, saying, hey, if we're already cheating and if we're so good and we're doing all this other stuff, look, we're obviously not that good. And why would you want to kick us whenever we're down? I love the idea that they're throwing all these games based on trying to reduce their punishment. However, I think that as correct as that could be, like, you know, nothing good lasts forever. And I think that you might be looking at a Pep Guardiola who's got an aging squad. Looking at the age of most of these people, I think Mark is the one that shared these numbers with me, but De Bruyne, over 30. Gundogan, over 30, and has left and come back. Is Rodri the only main starter in that club that's not over 30?
I think that's, like the Doku, Grealish, that...
Well, Grealish, Roberto Firmino has scored more recently in the league than your boy.
We can get to the
than your boy Kmart Kulusevski. But I think it's really interesting to suggest that City are throwing the games. And is that going to create additional charges if they're trying to throw games?
If they're throwing games, yeah.
I think that you're looking at a United side over the weekend that wanted it more, that were sick and tired of eating scraps, and I think maybe they just got it over the line a little bit more.
Well, I mean, if you were trying to convince someone that they were trying to throw it by the penalty that they conceded to tie the match, I mean, that was a donkey of a penalty. Like, if I were a manager, I would pull him off of me. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Who was the defender that had a chance to clear the game winner, too? He was just trotting back to the line. I think he probably could have cleared. I don't know.
It wasn't Nunez, right?
No, it couldn't have been Stones.
Because it was Nunez, right? The guy
Maybe it was Nunez, but
Nunez.
I remember looking at that replay because I wasn't watching the game.
He's the one who gave the penalty, so it wasn't him.
Yeah, but either way, it's in my mind when I'm thinking of John Stones clearing the ball and the season that they won the title by 3 millimeters or something like that.
Okay.
Putting themselves on the line, stretching out, getting it done. Just trotting back. It looked like a Rashford just kind of jogging around midfield. You can't tell me that there's no way he didn't even try and make an attempt to get, what is it, a 94th minute winner or something like that against your crosstown rival. It's kind of wacky to me. And again, this is all conspiracy theory, but I love it.
Yeah, nothing like a conspiracy theory to get you worked up. Look, you're right. Holland, I mean, it's down the spine. They have Diaz, they have Holland, and they have Rodri. So, like, through the middle. But, like, Ederson's going to be 30-something now, right? Like, he's older than I thought. And then, all those defenders. I mean, like, obviously, like, I love the fact that Kyle Walker's still there. He should have been in MLS, you know?
Kyle Walker, dude. I mean, like, the fact that he was captaining England over the summer just still...
Well, I mean, that's Gareth Southgate being
blows my mind, even for Gareth Southgate. But, I mean...
it's the same Gareth that was holding on to your boy Hendo.
You mean Champions League winning Jordan Henderson?
Tell me what you were saying about him a few minutes ago.
He's great for the locker room. All right.
But
he's great for the locker room. But he's also won a Premier League title.
No. Don't.
But he's also won an FA Cup. But he's also won a Carabao Cup.
What have you done for me lately?
Well, I mean, whenever you have the chance to go to Saudi, and it looks like that window is closing for a lot of players, I think you got to go make your money, hands down. So fair play to him. I think he was a great, steward post Gerrard. Any captain for Liverpool Football Club after Gerrard was going to be a donkey anyways. So I think, he won everything there is to win under the sun.
He did.
And a Club World Cup too, by the way.
The big Club World Cup. We don't have one. That's okay.
They don't exist. Yeah. You got the tiny little gold trophy.
It's okay. We got the gold one. That's fine.
Which, is it a little sour now that Leverkusen kind of
No.
hands down made like a real
No.
Invincibles run?
Yeah, they did one, and they had a chance to win the European Cup, and they didn't do it. So
Season was over, though, so they technically went undefeated this season. A true undefeated season.
I mean, it's your...
It's like your opinion, man.
That's like your opinion, man. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. And good for Leverkusen. I want them. I wish them many successes against Bayern Munich. May Bayern Munich rot in hell. Fuck them.
I mean, I don't think that experiment can last long either over there.
Well, let's move on. So we'll venture away from the Premier League and get to what we really came here for, because this is the Red Card District, where we normally discuss international football, not so much other stuff, but we came back today specifically because we have a new format to the Champions League. The Champions League. Honestly, it's more of an actual league, right? It's a league table instead of the groups that we're used to. And it is definitely a cash grab by UEFA and that bald scammer Infantino, an absolute scourge to the game.
Total mug. Who just awarded another World Cup to Saudi Arabia, right? Is that right? 36 is going to Saudi Arabia? Yeah, oh boy. I'm sure that's going to be a fun one for the fans.
And 32 is going to be held by 7 different countries or some shit. What is it? It's just 5 countries.
You're like starting in South America and
but
then
it's
coming over to like Morocco
Europe
and Spain and Portugal.
What the fuck? I mean, anyways, international football is a fucking joke. And what we have going on here is a big clusterfuck with what's going on with UEFA and FIFA and all these terrible, terrible corrupt entities that are running stuff. So the newest incantation of the Champions League that should be the format for the next several years at least. I mean, at least the next couple of years. That's the way they have it planned. There's been no motion to change anything yet, but they have yet to see how the first year pans out. So we are in year 1 of the Champions League with a new table where you go through and you play 8 matches, not home and away. It's not 3 different clubs home and away. You are playing 8 different clubs in Europe in the Champions League phase. And we have a unique situation where we now have it where the top 8 teams get to advance directly to the round of 16, and the following 16 teams play each other in a playoff in a chance to reach said round of 16 against the top 8. Currently, there's a couple English teams up at the top. Let's see who's in first.
Well, we've got 2 that have already qualified, and Barcelona, who look like they're back with their wonder kids from the summer tournament, and you've got Liverpool Football Club, who are won every single game they've played so far.
Yep, those 2 are at the top. And who's in number 3?
I don't know. No one remembers number 3. You always remember the bride, the bridesmaid, and then who invited that. But yeah, I think you got some dogs.
Jax, Jesus, talk about dogs.
Stonewall Jackson, dog farts.
Oh my God, turn the fucking back off. This toxicity brought to you by one
Philadelphia cream cheese.
Why do you give the dog cream cheese?
He loves it.
Yeah, no shit. Not before recording, please. Please.
So then you've got Arsenal,
send him out. He's going to be 86 for the next
Leverkusen,
recording session. This is fucked up.
And Aston Villa are in 5th. That has got to be.
Yeah.
That's got to be the surprise. But
Arsenal
I think
3rd, Leverkusen in 4th, Aston Villa in 5th, Inter Milan at 6th.
Everyone's favorite.
Brest. Everyone's favorite Brest in 7th, and Lille in 8th. So we kind of have a surprising top 8
with 2 match days left in the group stage. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, 2 match days left, and from 3rd to 8th, they're actually all tied on points. Just goal difference making up the difference between those teams as it stands.
Well, you've still got Barcelona 2 points ahead of that.
I said 3rd through 8th.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then you have Dortmund and Bayern rounding out the top 10. Rounding out the top 16, we have in 11th, we have Atletico Madrid, we have AC Milan, we have Atalanta, Juventus, Benfica, and Monaco. Now that's the top 16, and we have a few very surprising teams that are now barely hanging on. Honestly, most of these are at sub 10 points so far for the league phase, which is quite surprising considering there's 18 available points. Down in that bottom 8 of who still advanced, there's Sporting, Feyenoord, Club Brugge. Real Madrid in 20th on only 9 points from their 6 matches. Celtic, then Manchester City down in 22nd, and PSV and Dinamo Zagreb.
It's interesting that Sporting and Feyenoord both have a new manager this season as well, and they're kind of nestled right in the middle of that playoff bunch that I think I'm more surprised about their inclusion, with the exception of, Brest and Lille, maybe even Villa at that point, even though they were playing phenomenally last season. But to have a new manager come in and navigate, some really tough European ties and not knowing each one of these, opposition that you're dealing with, it's pretty impressive.
Well, there are 12 more teams that are not currently in a position to advance to the playoff round even. And there's a couple surprising ones. In 25th is PSG.
Shocker.
Who we all know. I mean, you say that it's a bit of a shocker. It is a shocker.
I think it is.
I thought you were being sarcastic when you said that.
That is the shock of the table. I think looking at it.
I think the biggest shock for me in the rest of this list is that RB Leipzig have 0 points. They're down tied at the bottom with Slovan Bratislava and Young Boys. I'm surprised they haven't gotten a single point from any match. That's the real thing that fucking trips me out. Like, them potentially not qualifying, I could see that. But they look good in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
They look good against Bayern.
I mean, even sitting in 30th, Girona gave us a very tough time at home in the last match day. So I think some of these teams are just going to be salivating at potentially being the spoiler for some of these juggernauts that are 1 point away from the drop zone. City are 1 point ahead of PSG, who are in the first elimination place. Real Madrid 2 points ahead. Now, there's no way in hell, and I'm glad I'm not a betting man at this point, but there's no way Real are not going to stay huddled up into that playoff bunch.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be there. They'll be there. I'm not too concerned. I don't think they're not going to be able to make it in the top 8 with the way things are.
Yeah.
But they'll be the team that everyone's trying to avoid in that knockout round. They're going to be that lower seed. It's going to be the one that, it's going to be a big match. Who from that team, like who that dropped into the 9th or 10th is going to happen to run into Real Madrid. Well, no one wants that shit.
And you're looking at potentially 4 teams coming out of the playoff that are going to potentially, and there's still 6 points to play for, but are going to potentially look at a knockout tie with Lille, Brest, or, Inter, who are playing really well right now in Italy, and Villa, who have been struggling all season. So you've got 3 ties for some of these really big clubs that are down in the playoffs that might have an easy way into, what would that be, round of 8?
The round of 16.
Round of 16 after that. So it's
well, we have a very I wouldn't call it so much a mouth-watering tie right now. It's a tie that's been a big match in Champions League knockouts before. We have PSG facing Man City on the next match day. Both teams, flirting with disaster at the moment.
Yeah.
With a must-win match if you want to continue to be, in the knockout phase come the end of match day 8. The other standout matches for me is, from what I see, we have Lille going to get a real test against Liverpool. That should be, you guys are through and locked, but Lille holding up 8th place. They're, the odds are against them. You guys want to keep that perfect record intact. Lille look good as far as they're going to make it through to the playoff round. But if they want to try to maintain that position in the top 8, they have to look to at least get a point there.
They'll need to get something out of it, and if there's a time to break a win streak, maybe that's time to maybe not show your cards just yet. But
well, this is the first time that this group stage is going to continue on into January. So the Champions League is done at this moment for the calendar year, and we'll be returning on the 21st and 22nd of January. So they're being given a little bit a 5-week break or so.
Yeah,
as the domestic fixtures. What's going to be interesting though too. One thing to consider is how the winter break will affect the players in Germany and Spain versus England. I mean, the English players will be coming into that after just coming through that really fucking busy holiday period where they're the ones that have all the fucking matches and no one else does. It's going to be, I think it puts you at a little bit of a disadvantage, because, I mean, the potential injuries you pick up while the rest of those guys are having Christmas and chilling out.
Absolutely. I mean, I think especially with that City PSG matchup, if you're looking at like overall possession in the Champions League so far, City have been sitting number 1 at 67.3 per game, and PSG are sitting at 60.2. So whoever wins the midfield in that game is potentially going to, go over the top. But God, City's sitting so low. Their pass percentage has been 92.8. Like, all the stats are leading to they should be dominating and maybe in a position where Liverpool are right now. However, I think it's down to what we were talking about earlier, and maybe a lack of finishing or just belief, or maybe they're just, throwing the games and trying to save some face. But all roads lead to that being an interesting game in the middle of the park if you're a midfield enjoyer. But it's going to be that's probably the apple of everyone's eye for that next match day. I totally agree.
Yeah, there's a few other matches that seem pretty straightforward, I think. Like, so Arsenal get Dinamo Zagreb, who are, down in 24th at the moment. And there's a few others that seem pretty straightforward, that for those clubs that are kind of hovering there, I mean, like I said, 3rd through 8th being all tied on points. You really want to, if you lock up maximum points in the next round, there's a good chance you'll be in that top 8 regardless for the, after the next round.
Who do Atalanta have in the January match day?
Atalanta will be facing, let's see.
Because that's one of those squads that was just so devastating.
Oh, they got Sturm Graz.
Okay,
so they should be able to handle business there.
They're going to be saving a lot of the legs over the holidays. Maybe too much pasta. Who knows? Maybe I'll get them a little time to get out of gear. But that team was so devastating last year.
There's another hot match though in the Champions League there for this upcoming round. Atletico Madrid, who are on a they're on a heater. Their form domestically and in the Champions League, they're on like an 11-match win streak, something like that.
That Griezmann goal of the weekend was
that Griezmann one was nice. That was extra greasy. He is not ready to come to LAFC. Please stay at Atletico, okay? I want to win back-to-back championships with the Galaxy, okay? By the way, shout out LA Galaxy for winning their record sixth MLS Cup, okay? So to all the Chivas USA fans out there, I mean the LAFC fans, suck it.
Why don't you cry about it?
Enjoy your one. We got 6.
So Atletico who?
Anyway, so Atletico are facing Bayer Leverkusen, who are both these teams. We go back to the standings. This is a nice matchup between the two teams that are towards the top. Atletico are they didn't start the Champions League in the greatest form, but they've won their last 3 matches straight. They're sitting in 11th place on 12 points. They're only 1 point behind all the teams tied there. So they're trying to jumpstart their way in. I mean, they're playing Leverkusen, who are in 4th, on 1 point ahead of them. So this basically would jump them into the top 8 by beating them going into the last match.
Atleti have been like goal machines in the tournament so far, and I think that Leverkusen are up there with some of 1 clean sheet behind 4 clean sheets in total. So
12-4-5 against for Leverkusen.
So that's going to be
Atletico are 10-4.
The immovable object versus the unstoppable force in that one. That's
I'm sorry, 14-10. Atletico have 10 goals against them.
Yeah, well that is
a little
leaky.
Normal.
It's a little leaky.
Arsenal 11-2, Leverkusen 12-5. You guys are 13-1. So Barca 21-7. 21 goals. These fucking
they're doing it for fun out there, man. They got 21 goals total. So, and then Dortmund are right behind them. Every game Dortmund have been a part of
only 1 point back. They had a tough loss against Barcelona in the last round. I was not too happy to see that, but what can you do?
Can't win them all. That was at home too, wasn't
it? Yep. But they're leaky. They made it to the final last year, but they were not the second best team in Europe, and they'd be the first ones to tell you that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Sometimes it works out, and then you run into Real Madrid in the final, and you know how that is.
Yeah, well, I mean, whenever you look at the goals, man, I mean, Lewandowski's top of the table on 7, and Rafinha's at 6. So, I mean,
that'll get it done.
It's coming from all over the pitch, really, for him. So.
Yeah, and Yamal really looks like the real deal. Good on him. I wish he wasn't there, but what
I mean, if you're Spain's new golden boy, where else would you rather be?
Atletico Madrid, clearly.
Yeah, who needs the beach? Who needs the beach?
Who needs the beach?
That fresh
that kid's never been on the beach.
Kids know nothing about the beach. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's to think that we got two more, that we're at the halfway period for most leagues, approaching damn near there, and that we still have 6 more points to play for, and the Champions League new format. I don't know. It seems like we couldn't get away from a European break this fall, and now it just seems like we've got this barren wasteland that most teams are not going to be carrying this form into, match day 7, let alone match day 8.
Well, speaking of match day 8, let's just go over a couple of the highlight matches there. So we'll run through a couple. We got PSV Liverpool. Should be an okay match, but there won't be too much at stake there for Liverpool.
Yeah, you got an old Feyenoord manager, though. It's going to love to turn him over.
Yeah, and then you got, Bayern, Slavan Bratislava. That should be pretty straightforward. Dortmund versus Shakhtar Donetsk. You think Dortmund should be able to handle that.
Yeah.
Leverkusen, Sparta, Prague. But really, Girona, Arsenal should be pretty straightforward, honestly, for Arsenal. But
is that at Emirates? Or?
No, Girona.
It's not going to be an easy place to go.
It's not going to be an easy place to go. But, they lost.
You should get the job done.
Should get the job done. And we probably only need a point there to make sure that we're going to be, if they handle business with the home match against Dinamo Zagreb, there's probably only a point needed because it doesn't matter where you finish in the top 8. I mean, sure, it's nice to be on top.
It's great to be on top, especially when you're on top of 2 leagues. Actually, 3, considering we're.
Yeah, you got your fingers in all. You got your
fantasy
fingers in all the pudding, huh?
Too.
Look at this guy.
And every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut.
Sticky fingers, huh? old honeydew over there.
Yeah,
Mr. Honeypot. But the big match that I was trying to get to is we have the Spanish clubs in a couple busty affairs, you might say. Barcelona versus Atalanta on the final match day. That's a pretty juicy one.
That's slippery for Barcelona, but they're already qualified.
They're going to be qualified, so maybe Atalanta kind of goes straight forward there. And then we have Real Madrid visiting the big old Brest.
Wow, what a whopper.
Gazanga. And that's going to, considering Real Madrid's position, even with a win in their next match, they're not going to be assured of qualification. They should probably be in the top, they'll be barely inside the qualifying group, but they'll probably need a result there. And Brest have been not the easiest one to turn over.
I don't think they're going to have any problem sliding right through Brest.
Well,
if they need it, if they need the ball in the back of the net, I think that they're going to be able to find some form. Brest have been kind of a little finicky, I think, at times. If you're looking at a lot of their matches, like scraped through, really. Like the stats aren't phenomenal, but I guess it's if you grind them out and you're not looking at a group stage where your opponent whenever you're at home or away, it's kind of a bunch of it's almost speed dating.
Yeah, but so looking at that, I was thinking about looking at PSG since they're currently outside the qualifying group. They really do need to maybe at least get a point against City, because then you think they could probably handle this, but they have to go to Stuttgart. It's never an easy place to go. I mean,
no.
PSG should be better than Stuttgart, but it's not an easy place to go. It's a road match.
I don't think PSG
and Donnarumma just had his fucking face rearranged.
Well, that's the big one, is how long is he going to be out?
Jesus
it looked
Christ.
like he had like 6 staples in his face.
Yeah, that was one of the ugliest facial. Like, I don't know, look.
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
I wonder what the live cameras look like.
I mean, we've seen some nightmare tackles.
Kids at home don't look.
What is it? Was it Doku on McAllister last year?
Yeah.
De Jong on. Was it De Jong on Xabi Alonso back in the day?
That at the World Cup final? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are all the same tackles, but on your face. So, yeah, I mean, he could see some time out, but if we're talking match day 8, which is going to be, middle of...
No, January 29th. So they have we have back-to-back weeks of Champions League
he'll
at the
probably
end of
be fine
January.
by then. But, I mean, PSG... How are they going to kickstart their campaign here over the winter when they're taking time off? I think a lot of these teams are going to suffer. We might see some big names suffering getting out of the blocks again following a winter break.
Well, I me's the trade-off. Are you going to be better off because your players have been rested and don't have are all carrying grade 1 sprains and shit and tears? It's really tough to say. And by that time, they'll have a couple league matches back under their belts. I don't think it's not the first match back, so I don't think they're going to be that rusty. I don't think it'll be that bad. Because, Spain comes back second week of January, right? Like January 5th, 6th, 7th, right around there.
A week before this, and then
No, it's 2 weeks before this, the 22nd. So you're gonna have 2 weeks. 2 weeks of league matches. You'll be at least 2 league matches back in before you get to the Champions League.
Yeah, you got 10 training. Well,
there's enough time. There's enough time. You take a fucking 2 week break. It's not like you're. I mean, it depends. It depends on the player.
Yeah,
depends on their proclivities. Where are they going? They're going off to Jamaica.
Jamaica me crazy, man.
They're going to Dubai for some beach training.
It's warm weather training.
Right by the beach.
Bomba clot. I think it's I mean, a lot of these teams are going to have to see what transpires in match day 7, and I think you could have some real, nervous customers come match day 8, where maybe we get some Champions League magic back in it a little bit, but I think a lot of these have just all been so straightforward that it's kind of been underwhelming with this format, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, this is where it's supposed to start to because up to this point, it's been okay, it's just a random abstract table. What does this mean? After this match, I mean, we should get the final match day should be exciting because there will be several teams fighting for their Champions League lives.
Yeah.
So there should be some drama. Hopefully for our teams, we will be done and dusted and in the top 8 regardless.
Do you think this American playoff format is going to catch fire at all to anything else?
The playoff format will not. I mean, this league table thing, I mean, look, the one thing I do like about it, I'll give it, this is the one thing that flares. I don't think that I like that they're playing more teams. I like that you're traveling more across Europe. I like that you're going to face 8 different clubs, Every year it's what are the 3 clubs? What are your chances for an away day, right? Yeah. Every year that's what we're waiting and looking for. It's oh, we got PSV this year. We got this. Oh, are we going to go to, pretty please don't send me to fucking, Shakhtar Donetsk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't send me to Ukraine. Don't send me to fucking Ludogorets. Victoria Pilsen in the fucking Europa League. Okay, that's fucking fine by me. Let's go to the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
But really, these away days, are we going to go to the San Siro? Is it Inter Milan or AC Milan? Those are big things, and I think the addition of the venues and the amount of different teams you play, I like that. Okay, there's a chance to if I were one of these days, I'm gonna go see Arsenal on the continent somewhere, and it's gonna be hey, okay, they're playing Girona, right? That's a trip that could happen. Okay, end of January, we're going to Girona. That's reasonable. Or it's gonna be Paris, or it's gonna be it's Monaco. These are things that are all to have 4 different destinations instead of just the 3. Or the chance to see those other 4 teams play at the Emirates, see them at the Kop, see them at Anfield, those are great chances. You can't always make the Real Madrid match in the final, but we just got a chance to get a rematch of that final and get a win at home at Anfield. You know what I mean? For fans that maybe the Champions League final is out of reach.
For the modern fans, and I think there's a lot to unpack there, but I think for the modern fans, it's great to see a team play different clubs throughout. However, I think from a terrorist standpoint, there is a cultural exchange that happens there, and this is comes from the birth of casual fashion and stuff like that from the 80s, where you go home and away, and there is some sense of hey, we got to know your city, you got to know ours,
totally,
and they give you some, and then hey, we're gonna get them back whenever we bring them back home. Just you wait. So I think that sense of football, I don't want to say heritage, but it is football heritage of giving it and taking it. That is kind of missing, and I think as soon as it's broadcast, it's okay, great. If you just wake up and turn on the TV,
I
fantastic.
You're right. But I think it takes away from what the personal rivalry is between the teams.
Yeah,
because if this is just one of 8 teams you're going to play in the group instead of there's only 3 teams and home and away. Well, it's a different.
Some of the pubs around Anfield, you'll go in and there's a plaque from Mönchengladbach where it's hey, big game over there and come present a plaque over there and stuff like that. So I think building a sense of history kind of goes by the wayside here in the cash grab, but at the same time, more games as well. Kind of, one of those things. Well, that's the whole thing. The draw doesn't really have any, significance at this point. Maybe, I guess, it is kind of maybe going to be more fun with like a more impactful draw. But whenever you're waiting to see, staying up till 2 and 3 in the morning, at least over here in the States, waiting to see what the draw is going to be is massive news, and group chats are blowing up, from people all over. Like, I think that little bit of it is kind of something that's missed, but we said the same thing about Golden Goal and everything else over the years. So maybe it's just time for a change, but we have yet to see what maybe the best part about it is. Maybe this playoff thing is just going to be maybe they're going to get some bowl games going. Maybe we can get the Doritos Iron Brew Bowl or something like that.
Yeah, they're going to start playing the games over here in the U.S. We're going to get all sorts of shit.
Yeah, God.
Who knows?
I mean, great for us, terrible for everyone else, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the bigger thing here is, right, the concern about what it does to the athletes. You're adding 2 more matches to the schedule for these players at that elite level, right? Players at Real Madrid, players at Barcelona, players at Liverpool. They're already playing 60 matches a season because they got to go to the Club World Cup, because they got to go play 8, and now it's instead of 6, now it's 8 Champions League games plus the entirety of the knockout rounds all the way until, say, the semifinals at least, because they're that good of a team that perennially makes it that far.
And we got the Nations League.
And then we've added the Nations League. The Nations League, the most useless fucking thing, another money grab. That's FIFA. But like you said, it's just back to back. That these are money grabbing moves by these federations, to just do a cash grab, and they're not thinking about the players.
Well, and I think it's, there used to be, whenever I was younger, and I'm sure you were the same way, where, you're watching Fox Soccer World or whatever else, and you're like, oh man, it's international footy time. I'm so excited.
Sure.
And now they're kind of farting one out every other month.
Like you say, it dilutes it, and it makes it like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Didn't we just finish the Euro Cup fucking this past summer? Like, what are we doing? Can we just fucking wait until World Cup qualifiers? Like, can't that wait till this summer and then they go to the World Cup?
And getting a cap for your country now, does it have the same weight as it used to? And I don't know. I'm not really sure. It's not really. It's a game's gone. Game's gone.
Well, we know what runs. Cash rules everything around me. That's all that fucking matters, and we know that's how it's always been. That's the thing that these federations care about more than anything else. So, we just hope, we pray and hope that I
pray and hope this Paramount Plus subscription starts getting better coverage, man. It's like my stream's out like every other match.
Yeah, they could use being a little better. ESPN could work on a little better. We could work on the talent they're hiring maybe a little bit better. Now, nothing against Paramount Plus in general. They employ a few of my homies that I think are very talented people, and actually to credit them, I think they've done a great job with Serie A coverage, because they've taken a guy
absolutely
like Matteo Benetti, right, who I used to know on Twitter as the Milan guy and then the Calcio guy and all that kind of shit. This dude was literally the most fucking knowledgeable guy on Twitter and that we knew about Serie A, and yeah, he's got history and all this stuff, his family with AC Milan and all that. And this is the guy who does color commentary for the league now. And I think that's a great job done by Paramount Plus to not fall into the regular narrative of just giving the fucking job to some other ex-player pundit. Because today, after the match, because we were watching the League Cup, they brought in Troy fucking Deeney to give us his 2 cents. This fucking merchant who, thankfully we made a bet. He was younger than you.
Well, that's going to get easier and easier to do in the coming years.
It's going to get easier and easier to do, but he's 36 years old. And, he could still be playing somewhere, but, he was...
I would not want to... MLS,
no.
maybe.
MLS or League Two, wherever the fuck he fits in.
USL.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's going to play in the championship
I just
anymore.
love seeing a seasoned professional like himself dragging Marcus Rashford's 27-year-old ass through the mud as hard as he could.
Yeah, he
on
certainly
his
did.
debut.
Well, yeah, exactly. Being the absolute heel to Arsenal the whole time, shitting on them for having to bring in their big guns to finish off the
your
lowly.
own players are your biggest heels whenever they leave. That's the best part. We were speaking about Adebayor earlier.
Adebayor.
I thought you got that name out of your mouth a long time ago.
I didn't say that shit. So, yeah, Troy Deeney's not the strongest choice by them.
But it's something different. I think it's something different.
Something different. In English, a shitty guy that's never been good enough to be picked by his fucking international club. International team. It's not like Troy Deeney. How many England caps does he have?
Not many, if any at all. But you got to look at the 2 Robbies and all. You just plug and play a British accent on a lot of American coverage.
The 2 Robbies had much more distinguished careers than fucking Troy Deeney.
It was a cold night in Watford. All right, you remember where you were.
Yeah, I don't need to talk about that.
But I agree. I think you got to try. You need to bring in some of these golden generation failed managers into the fold at some point. I just really wish it was someone besides Gary Neville. Like it's getting kind of insufferable hearing a lot of the commentary
Gary gets tired.
and even Kara to a certain point. Like you've got to change it up. There's a lot of talent out there with a lot of knowledge and fair, unbiased opinions on stuff. One person I've been surprised with every time he's been on, and I know I'm shooting myself in the foot by saying this, but Paul Scholes is usually very impartial whenever he's doing commentary in the studio or whatever else. But it'd just be good to hear somebody with a fresher voice come in.
It's just Paul Scholes knows what he's talking about, but Paul Scholes has no fucking character. Like he's never had, and it's shitty because it's like it's not about being a personality, but he's no Big Meeks.
That's true, and I mean,
to me, I'm tired of Carragher because like that his whole.
I thought he was done after he was spitting on the kid on the freeway. He had a Sky gig, but I mean, look, you've got your salty dogs and Graham Souness and
But those guys are too long in the tooth to get new gigs. They're not gonna be getting Graham Souness isn't going to be getting a fucking job from a company covering it in the States.
Well, and Sky's not ever going to let go of like people like Crouchy, who would probably be doing fantastic in a more international market. But sure. I think even Rio seems like he's kind of been guarded a good amount from the British press. But it'll be interesting to see. I think what Bex has been on once or twice over here in the States. But
Rio's a useless pundit. Like he's got nothing. Really good
completely biased is the sad part about it.
Yeah,
that's not what you're looking for when you're trying to grow the sport. I think over
it doesn't help things. It doesn't help things. And look, Beckham's not a particularly great comment. He knows to stay in his lane.
But what about just someone else? I hate to say it, but like a Harry Kuehl or like a Mark Viduka or like a Stephen Pienaar, like someone from Oceania or African football or something
South
like that.
African and a couple of Aussies.
I guess you got Nigel Mediocre on Paramount, right?
Yeah, you got him for Europa coverage, which that's about his level.
Yeah, well, just a handful of times as well.
I respect Freddie for getting out of there because he was doing some Champions League stuff for a while, but he's like, I'm not doing Europa. Get me out of here.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more opportunity, and I think the Europa League coverage, I think if nothing else, has probably been a little bit stronger than some of the Champions League.
Yeah, it's been
coverage.
better. They got rid of someone who I will not name that was on some of that coverage last year, and I am happy to see them gone.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, we'll leave that there. But yeah, it's Paramount Plus, CBS, they've been doing a good job in general with like as far as overall product, because the comparison is, well, what is ESPN doing, what's NBC doing, and what's Fox doing?
NBC had a little more time. ESPN had a little more time.
And NBC has been doing a pretty good job. I think Paramount Plus has been doing a pretty good job in general.
Yeah, it's the new kid on the block, absolutely. Yeah.
I think Fox is continuing to fucking fumble the bag because they're useless pieces of shit and continue to employ a bunch of shit people and
degenerates.
And honestly, ESPN, they could use a little refresher. Why?
The Bundesliga coverage, I think, is strong.
Yes, well, I mean, you have Derek Ray. It's great. So if he's your lead commentator doing your main matches, it's great. But why do you have to put Stuart Robson on color commentator with him? Who needs to hear Stuart Robson?
I don't know.
I'm sick of that motherfucker. I need him on. I need him on no more broadcasts.
Well, just wait until we get the World Cup. We're gonna have Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. We are not
because it is not Fox. It is NBC. It is the lovely people at NBC
those beautiful babies over at NBC.
Beautiful people over at NBC who will clearly make good, bold decisions in bringing fresh blood in to help cover this beautiful game. Yeah. But basically, like I'm also there's been a couple the progress made, like ESPN FC, like their coverage, right? Like I don't mind Shaka. I think he's fine. Like I got nothing against him. I don't think he's great.
He's a veteran for the platform. He's been there for a while.
I think Craig Burley's great because he's always got a good opinion. He's always got a strong opinion, and he can be your old guy. Oh God, old guy. Speaking of old guy farts over here. Jesus Christ, Jax.
He's an old dog. He's got old guy farts.
This is the fucking worst. Getting toxified, bro. There's a visual episode of just fucking.
It's the smelling salts of the
brown
studio
cloud.
world.
Oh God, you got me off point. But at least it seems like Paul Mariner's out of there. Haven't seen him in quite a while, so that's good. Is Stevie Nickel, like, I'm ready for him to be out the fucking door.
Big Stevie, come on.
God, I can't wait for him to get out of here.
Absolute legend, though.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to care that he played for Arsenal for a few years. There's only one team he cares for.
Best to forget about that, It's
best to forget about those things. Yeah,
understandable.
He certainly forgets about that when he's talking shit on the mic. But
calls him like he sees him, bud.
Yeah, through Liverpool tinted glasses. That's the way he sees him. Talk about a fucking homer. But yeah, Stevie needs to be replaced. But the rest of the guys, even the guy who hosted, he's great. I'm fine with him. Sebastian Salazar too. He does some of the Latin American stuff. God, dude, out. Get him out of here.
He can't go nowhere.
Time to the doorknob.
He's doorknobbing.
God damn. Just let him get out in the hallway. Yeah, you got it. All right, we got to wrap this shit up. Someone's got to shit. We got to get a move on this. We got things to do. We got places to be. And there's soccer to watch. Let's get to the footy. But yeah, we will be back to talk more about the Champions League here soon. Come end of January, we'll have 2 last rounds. Be back to talk about it. If not between those 2 weeks, we'll be back to talk about it as soon as the group stage is over. Once the draw is made, and we have all the exciting stages to come for the Champions League of 2025. Let's get it. All right, you can follow us on social media. You can follow me at Morning Pint on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, whatever. And you can follow Kyle Hufnagel here at, what is it?
Vasky Media on YouTube.
Say it again.
Vasky
Spell
Media.
that?
VAST.
Vast guy.
Vasky. And that's V-Sky Media on the Bird. And coming to Blue whatever.
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky. Yeah, we'll be on there. And then get at me at Anfield Cat 420.
Anfield Cat 420. To chat some footy with him on the Twitter, okay? That's it from us for now. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back come next month. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho.
Happy Festivus, Kwanzaa, whatever the fuck you celebrate.
Merry Crimbo.
Merry Crimbo. Happy New Year, bitches.
Peace.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye.